What would life look like if you were able to actually express yourself fully? What would life look like if you were able to actually fully express yourself in every moment? What would that feel like? Would that be scary? Would it be exciting? I wonder, actually. I was thinking about this. Like, what would it look like? What would it feel like? So what I realize is that everything you desire is on the other side of your full self-expression. Really let that land for a second. Everything that you desire is on the other side of your full self-expression. As I talk about all the time, really, the real secret to life is to know your truth, speak your truth with love, and then to take actions that are in alignment with that truth. As long as you can do this, doesn't matter what happens in the external world, you'll always be connected to yourself and your truth, and that'll result in a state of inner peace, even though things on the outside can change. And it requires us being willing to detach from the outcome and be attached to the income. I just made that up. Detach from the outcome, be attached to the inside and what that feels like. Because that's authenticity. That's truth. And what's interesting when I say that everything you desire is on the other side of your full self-expression, your full self-expression will be polarizing. It will push people away and it will attract the right people to you. And that's a good thing. You fully owning your expression and being expressed is going to be like a filter that magnetizes the right people towards you and pushes the ones that don't resonate with you away. But the trap that a lot of us fall into is to play the safe middle ground. Oh, I don't want to polarize anybody. I don't want anybody to not like me. Let me just play it safe in this middle range. And the opportunity cost of that is you actually don't really get to find your people. Safe doesn't really magnetize people. So it's something that I think about often. Where am I holding back on my full self-expression, my full truth? Something that comes to mind, a really specific moment happened just earlier today. I was in the sauna at the gym that I go to, Nirvana. If you've ever been to Bali, go to Nirvana. It's amazing recovery center. But we're in the sauna and there were all these people just talking so loud. And I really just wanted to be in my peace there. And I was thinking there must be other people in the sauna that are annoyed by these people just chatting really loud. And I'm like, should I just say, hey, excuse me, would you mind just keeping it down? But I chose not to. I didn't express myself fully today because I wasn't sure how it would be received. And so I abandoned myself in a moment there, If I had said something, would there have been other people that had been like, oh, thank you. Yeah, please, could you guys just shut the fuck up or be quiet? It could have been amazing, but I will never know because I didn't do it. But there have been times where I have said something and I had people that were like, yeah, please, could you please be quiet? And it was this really beautiful moment where I was like, wow, I'm so grateful. Actually, a time recently happened where somebody else said something and I chimed in. I was like, yo, yeah, thank you. That would be great if you guys could chill a little bit. And it created more of the reality that I wanted. And I felt really connected to the person who said something because I was thinking of that too. And I think of this, how many spaces and opportunities are we holding back? And what would happen if we gave ourselves permission to fully express? One thing that's required, realizing, is just being willing to be unliked. You got to be willing to be unliked. You got to be willing to get uncomfortable. Be willing to feel awkward. But it always feels really good. I feel proud of myself whenever I do speak my truth fully. Yeah. What's really interesting I find in life is that usually when we stop ourselves or prevent ourselves from expressing or making a choice, it's usually out of fear. we fear a specific outcome that we don't want to experience. And so we prevent ourselves from doing what we know we should do or we want to do in order to avoid this worst case scenario. But what's so funny is I would say, I don't know the exact number, but I'd say about 99% of the time, the worst case scenario that we imagined for however long we were avoiding it usually never actually happens when we do the thing. A lot of times it's the opposite of what we thought would happen. And that's just mind-blowing to me. To prevent ourselves from doing what we really want to do because we're afraid of something and then we actually do it and it doesn't even happen. It's like, whoa, how much time do we waste like waiting in fear?
Do you have an example from yourself or from other people that you have climbed your coach?
There's nothing that's coming to mind in this exact moment. There's nothing that's coming to mind in this exact moment. I know in relationship, for instance, in my relationship with Hart, there's been times where I was really afraid to share how I felt about something. And then when I finally shared it, I was met with love, not with rejection. And so that's like a vague example. I think, a really good example would be in past relationships when I felt like I needed to move on, but I didn't. There was this deep fear that I had that I wouldn't even really want to admit, but it was like, oh, what if I walk away from this relationship and I end up dying alone? Like, what if I leave this relationship and I never find love again and I actually die alone and lonely? And so that fear of the unknown would actually prevent me from making that choice. But it never actually came true. Like whenever I got the courage to actually walk away from a relationship or a job even that wasn't working for me, what was waiting on the other side once I took that leap was always something better. There's always been something better on the other side. So it's never been the thing I was afraid of. But that fear would keep me from making the decision. So that's a really good example of that. I'm like, wait a minute. So there's always something better waiting for me if it feels like it's not working. So why would I doubt that? And there's really this piece here that's like a deeper level of trust and faith. I feel like our intuition always knows. It's like the body doesn't lie. There's something, it's beyond our normal like human comprehension. Because here's the thing, right? Our brain only knows what it's experienced. Our ego only knows what it's experienced. Our ego doesn't know anything outside of what it's experienced. So the ego's job is to keep you safe and protected. And so it's going to base all the decision making on what it's known to be true in the past. So the unknown to the ego feels like death. And that's why it wants to create all these stories of like the worst case scenario, because to it does feel like the worst case scenario. And it takes real courage, and it really takes faith, I would say, to take that leap into the unknown, is knowing that God has your back, that God or spirit or universe, whatever you want to call that divine force that orchestrates everything, it's got your back. Because if you can have faith that something better is waiting for you, otherwise it wouldn't be giving you the feedback right now that that something's not working, that something's off. It wouldn't give you that unless it had something better for you. So how deeply can we trust in the intelligence that orchestrates everything? And how much can we trust that feeling within us and take actions based on that? Yeah, there's this idea that I really live by. It's called, the phrase is slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. It's this idea that a lot of times just doing more and doing things really quickly and like constantly being busy is actually slower than if you were to just slow down, take time, pause, meditate, journal, and then take really aligned action from that place. So slow down to speed up. It's a good thing to remember. Slow down to speed up. Yeah. That's why for me, going surfing on a daily basis or whenever I can, going surfing is actually where I get the best feedback for myself. It's like sometimes I'm working on the computer and I feel like the breakthrough needs to happen when I'm here behind the computer. But a lot of times if I just step away, go for a surf, and I'm in my body and the energy's moving, it's like the best ideas come from that vibration. When I'm tapped into my body, when I'm tapped into joy, when I'm like outside, I feel like I have access to all these ideas that I couldn't quite access when I was like just in my head being logistical. And this is the last piece I wanted to say, is that when we try to make decisions from our limited human brain of thinking and what we only based on what we've experienced, we can't see the infinite number of possibilities that exist beyond that can easily happen and can be orchestrated by the universe. So if we just like let go of the idea that we need to figure it out or know, and we can just trust the feeling and act upon that feeling with faith and with love, then we set ourselves up for the greatest chance for miracles to occur. And yeah, just living from a sense of wonder and awe and synchronicity. Yeah. So that's the transmission for today. How deeply can you trust, and how deeply can you act upon that and invite wonder and awe into your life?